Basketball is my life. I have nothing else.
This is incredible. This is the best grateful I've ever heard.
Shooters. That's what we do.
Shooters, a basketball podcast. Let's go.
We can do whatever we want, and welcome back to season 2 of the Shooters podcast with your only, one and only Jack McVeigh and his best mate.
Yeah, it's me, Darren. I'm just happy to see you. To be honest, it has been a while between drinks, but it is good just to. Who cares about the recording? Let's just catch up.
Let's start off with, we wrapped it up in Germany. You came and visited me, and then you went on a continued holiday. Give us a recount of that.
It feels like a while ago. I was actually thinking, I was thinking last night, just like the summer stuff we did in Germany, and it's fun to think back on. But no, me and Jess, my fiance Jess now, which we'll touch on later. We just did our own little holiday after me and you had our own time. So stayed in Germany for a bit. Went to Venice, first time there for me. She's been there before, but I have no doubt this time was better. Just because I was there and just because she's older to enjoy, more things as well. So, and then we finished in Croatia. So it was very nice. I think Jess always gets jealous, and myself as well, just thinking about, those times like a month ago now. But it was fun. It was good fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's nothing better than a good holiday, especially when you hit that big Europe, because that's a lot of people's goals, A lot of people don't get to ever experience that. I was lucky enough to go over there for work and get to experience that. And obviously you came along for a visit and we had one heck of a time.
It was great. What do you, so thinking back on your time of it, does it feel like ages ago? Like, have you forgot a lot of what it was like? Seeing as it seems like you've done, I've lost him. He's gone. Oh, good chat. Well, anyway, that was the welcome back episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Just midway through my sentence of explaining what Europe was like, even though it was a while ago and he left. Is he back? Is he back?
I'm back.
Nothing ever happened then. Smooth transition. I was just asking you what you even remember from your time in Germany, because it feels like years ago.
It's the off-season's always a strange time because it goes so quickly, but then it's also a long process where it's different to the other 9 months of your life. Obviously, you're kind of focused on your own schedule. You create whatever you want. And then Germany kind of was a blink of, this crazy adventure. You coming to visit, Fab coming to visit, playing basketball, some really good, fun basketball, and then, getting to explore another country. And so it feels like only yesterday kind of in how quickly everything's happened, but also a long time ago as well.
Yeah. Am I right in saying you've kind of had it feels like you've had 3 phases to your off season. So you had the Europe stuff, and then you went home to Adelaide for, I don't know how many weeks you were there for, but that was, I'm labeling that as your family time. And now you're back in Tassie. You're back to kick things off again. So is that right?
Yeah, 100%. So we had the Germany, which is the NBL off season, but I was still at work full on, playing basketball, living the dream. And then I pretty much headed back to Adelaide, where within a week I proposed to Beth, which was awesome. We went up to Darwin for a music festival, did it up there. It was incredible, and it was such a great time. And then kind of just got to work. Me and my younger brother were pretty much working out 7 days a week in the gym, trying to get stronger twice a day, and then playing basketball once a day. And kind of did that for the next, I think it was about 12 weeks. And then today we're recording this on a beautiful Friday, and I got back to Tassie a couple days ago to start doing some school camps and some clinics in the school holidays, and pre-season's about to begin.
You touched on your proposal then for a second. I was laughing to myself when it happened because we may have had a cheeky word when I first got to Germany with you. I told you what my plans were to propose, and then I can't remember what your wording was, but you were basically just I'm ready as well, kind of thing. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And the next 6 months or something, Jack's probably gonna do it. And then it felt like the next week almost. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So we were kind of in sync then, which is quite funny when you think about it. But yeah, it's
100%, 100%. Yeah, we're at very similar stages of our lives. You're looking to buy a house. I bought a house the other day. How's the house hunting going?
Pretty crappy compared to you. Yeah, so congrats on your house. I'm glad you guys found one. But no, it's kind of like we're kind of in that stage of like we don't want it to be like too like frustrating, or we don't want to get too stressed about it. But it's just about ticking those boxes and finding the right one, and yeah, we'll eventually get there. But haven't found one yet, like yourself. But tell us about yours. Are you moving in tomorrow to that place? Is that what you meant by that?
No, so currently for the last 4 days, I've been living at Jared Bairstow's house. So he's taken me in like a little child, been feeding me. He's actually in the room next door cooking me dinner right now. So incredible guy. And then what will happen is we've got this little preseason kind of boot camp, but the imports aren't going to be in for this. This is just all the Aussies flying in, getting to know each other, kind of building that culture early. And so Fab and me will move into one of the imports places, stay there for the next 7-8 days until my house gets settled, and then I'll be moving into my house hopefully next Friday. Before the imports get in and before kind of the whole official preseason begins.
Very nice. I was going to ask about that, but before I do, is Jared cooking some steak by any chance? Because I just want to let the people at home know that Jack is very particular about what he eats, and I swear I'm not going to say every single day in Germany was the same food, but it was very close. It's a good routine to have, but I just laughed that you were so on point with that stuff.
Yeah, in Germany, it was a little different because I didn't really have the comfortability of your home setting. When you go into the shops, everything looks slightly different. So I just kept it super simple. And for the 12 weeks there, pretty much besides when I ate out, I ate the exact same 3 to 4 meals every single day.
Yeah, it's true. I can verify those details. But what was that? So what's the boot camp all about? What are you guys doing exactly?
Yeah, so pretty much here we're bringing in all the Aussies. We just want to sort everything out. We've got a lot of new guys, new pieces, so we want to get everyone in the housing, get everyone acclimated a little bit to just Tasmania. And then on the other side, so Junior Madut and Majuk Dang are going off to the camp for the World Cup. And so they'll miss a lot of the August. And when the team was getting selected, we have our physio, Ryan, at the time, our assistant coach, Jacob Chance, and at the time, there was a really good chance, what I was told, of me being in that camp as well. So there was going to be a lot of pieces kind of away for the August period, and so we wanted to get kind of everyone in a little bit early, get everyone to know each other, build that little culture early on. It's ended up not too bad for me because I get to stay and work out and get to be a part of it. And Jacob Chance ditched us to go to Melbourne, got stolen from us, but that's the part of professional sports. And so, yeah, it's really helping out Majuk and Junior and getting to know each other in that sense.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. Those team bonding trips, they're probably like so much more important than we realize as fans, like just to get on the same page and begin early or begin whenever you need to. But I'm going to jump back and forth because I'm all over the shop here just because we haven't caught up in so long. But I remember there were some people that were like, talk us through both engagements. So I'm going to get you to set the scene and tell me how it happened with Beth because, people want to know apparently.
Nice. So I kind of had 2 engagements. Now, this sounds weird, I know. So I got back.
Both same woman, same lady?
Same woman. So I got back.
Okay.
And within a couple of days, I was like, I want to do it. I'm madly in love. All that cute stuff.
Yeah.
And so
lovely.
I was like, let's do it ASAP. I wanted her mum to be involved. And my whole theme was kind of, I just want to do the boring stuff with you every day. Like the stuff that we find boring is what we make fun. Going shopping, doing all that stuff. So we, Henley Beach in Adelaide is a spot that we just love going like twice a week. We get some Thai there. There's a little like Japanese spot we eat. So we were just going down for a sunset to get some Thai. Her mum was the photographer. We walked out on the pier and I got down on one knee and gave a little speech and did that. And so that was a beautiful night. And then Beth wasn't very happy with what she was wearing and it was after a night shift and stuff. So we what we did is we were going to Darwin that next day. We took the ring up there, got some nice photos together and kind of called everyone up and told everyone the news like 24 hours after the official proposal. So that's how we did it. And it was really, really nice because then we had like a weekend to celebrate in Darwin.
I like that. I like that. It's always good to see the backstory of these things rather than just seeing photos online and being like, hey, cool. Because when I saw the photos
Yeah.
online, I'm like, who else was there with you? But yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. Congrats again,
Well,
by the way.
now
Any
it's
wedding plans?
Thank you. Now, wedding plans are getting locked down either June, July in Adelaide next year. So that's going to be exciting. We were visiting some venues, places we wanted to hold it, and all that good stuff. But really, most of our time was spent looking at houses and organizing those things was our number one priority. So all this adulting, it's crazy.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's overrated, but nah, it's good. It's exciting. It's just more getting things locked down and actually, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, now it's your turn because I want to hear about. We kind of talked about the pre-plan a little bit when we were in Germany, but I want to hear how it went down and the little gritty nitty details of it all.
Yeah, so Jack was sort of like I'd say one of the first, not like I told my family and obviously I spoke to her family and stuff beforehand, but you were one of the first people I kind of talked about it in person to because I was just like, I'm just going to pull out the ring on the day one when I arrive and be like, oh, this is an extra special trip, and you got excited as well, which I knew you would, but yeah, it was kind of, it was planned like, yeah, I knew I wanted to do it in Europe. It wasn't too long before Europe in which I kind of decided I'm like, hey, Europe would be the perfect time to do it. I just knew if I got back to Australia, I'd just be like, oh, that was an opportunity that was great that I've kind of just killed, and then I have to, in my head, match what that would have been like in Europe. So yeah, did it there. She's obsessed with waterfalls. So I knew as soon as we organised this Croatia place, I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but it's called like Plitvice or Plitvice, I don't know, Plitvice Lakes. We organised that. It was towards the back end of our trip. And yeah, it's just like a big waterfall park essentially. So yeah, as soon as I heard the word waterfall mentioned, I'm like, that's where I got to do it. And all I had in my head that was to carry it around and get a waterfall in the background of the photos, and I achieved that. So yes, it was good.
Nice. Was it stressful trying to hide the ring when you were walking around?
I think, yeah, Jess asked that and a fair few other people asked that, but I was more stressed about, because like it was a very heavy tourist place, so like the main waterfall, there was so many people around, so I was like, this isn't private enough for me, I kind of want, somewhere that's just like me and her. So I was mainly stressed about just finding another waterfall, to be honest. But the ring, it was literally the last few days of the trip, so I was used to carrying it around everywhere, but actually carrying it in your pocket rather than the camera bag was a different thing. But no, it was good. It all worked out, and she was like fully caught off guard, which was extra nice.
Nice. So we've had our happy little trip. You've gotten engaged. I've bounced back and gotten engaged almost around the exact same time. You come back and you transition back into work. What does an off-season NBL-wise look like for you, and what projects did you work on that you enjoyed? What was kind of your focus? What was your weekly and some of the things you enjoyed working on in the off-season?
Yeah, off seasons are always interesting because I remember when I first joined the NBL, I'm like, what do you actually do in the off season? And obviously it's keeping things rolling, keeping rosters updated and stuff. But you tend to a lot of the time just sort of in my role as well, is just lend your hand to the NBL1. So yeah, that's just we basically do the same thing for the NBL1 and get some shows going and just help with content and stuff. But recently we cover the Summer League quite extensively, just because we have so many it's funny how many Australian connections and how many NBL connections there are over there. So that couple of weeks is always pretty full on. We just get a lot of interviews and a lot of little things like that covered, and we've had the opportunity in other times to kind of be in the room, where I know last season we were in the room where Phoenix were making calls to imports and having meetings with guys they were thinking about signing, which is always a really cool fan experience and insight. So yeah, that's always a fun project, even though it's quite a lot of work. But yeah, it's cool just to be able to watch NBA and you're like, okay, this is technically part of my job more so than it normally is, even though I claims that it normally is anyway.
Yeah, nice. So you also, the NBL asked you to jump into an official interview, which for the NBL1. How was that experience? And obviously it's a little bit different than doing the Shooters podcast, but how was your first kind of official interview that went out on a podcast on the platforms, and how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, it's funny. Like in all seriousness, it did. I reckon this did help me. Like speaking is a skill, and like I'm still not. I don't think I'm still great at it, but it's just like it's one of those things where you do something like this on a regular basis, even though we took a few weeks off, but that's fine. But then you jump into a situation like that, and you're like, oh, this is kind of like the same thing as I've been doing. You're just in more like a professional environment, but. Yeah, so I interviewed like Mila Goodchild. We just sort of had a quick chat, just caught up with her, and it was fun. Honestly, like I really enjoyed it, just getting to know people in this kind of environment. Like, unfortunately, it's the online world, and you're just doing what you can online. But hey, we'll have to ask her what she thought of it, what she thought of us as I was like as an interviewer. So it was good fun. It was good fun just to be able to do a bit more of this kind of stuff in a work environment.
Well, I've been getting asked what to expect for the Shooters podcast in season 2, and I'll tell you what, one big difference is we've still got the professional athlete, but now we also have the NBL official podcaster. You know, that's a little step up. That's a little upgrade. You know, so we're putting some extra titles on our official names in season 2.
It's all about how you sell yourself, and you got to get the reps in. I feel like I'm getting more reps in as like a talker and a podcaster. So yeah, it's fun. It's good fun. Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's definitely something I want to try to more of and just keep it. I think one of my goals in that sort of space, if I get to do more, is to keep it more casual rather than you guys are probably so sick of just like post-game interviews and like answering those classic basketball questions. So if I can make people a bit more comfortable and just get some fun out of them, I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you find that niche of their passion or their curiosity that sometimes it is outside of the sport they play. Sometimes it is in the sport they play. You know, like if someone was to interview me about performance, for example, I could talk all day and it'd be a great interview. But not all basketball players want to talk about that side of it. You can find them; they might want to talk about wine or about cars or about shoes. Like who knows? And once you find that niche, it's a whole different breed. But we'll break down a little bit about my off season and what kind of that looks like as a professional basketball player. Do you have any questions or things that pique your interest or when you're looking out from the outside in? Because I went a bit MIA. I didn't reply to Darren very much. I was off pretty much all social media, barely on my phone. I think one week I averaged like 18 minutes on my phone, when you get those little notifications. So it was a shutdown. It would wake me up in the morning. That was it. But have you got any questions for me?
No, that's just interesting by itself. And I've got to say, I've got to pat you on the back for actually doing that and putting down your phone. And Jack, you kept apologizing and you're like, sorry, I've just been MIA. I'm not replying. I'm like, you know what? No, it's a good thing. Like, don't apologize. You got to make the most of being around your family as much as you can. But yeah, I guess I was just curious where, like, actually, like during the Adelaide time. So you said you were like working out 7 days a week with your brother. What does that actually look like? Like I saw some one-on-one, like wholesome clips on Instagram and stuff, which was cool. I enjoyed seeing that just because I know you don't get to spend heaps of time with him. But yeah, what do those days actually look like for you?
Yeah, well, first off, the really cool thing about kind of last season, heading into last season was I headed into the preseason. I didn't have a preseason last year because I was coming off the dislocated shoulder. And so I was kind of really happy with how the season went, considering I had no time in the off-season to improve. And then I backed it up with a successful trip in Germany. And so I kind of went into this off-season going like, using the inspiration of dudes like Jack White, Xavier Cooks, Jock Landale signed this deal. I was like, I'm close. I'm close to that ultimate dream of, helping the Jack Jumpers win an NBL championship and playing in the NBA. And so there was this extra bit of motivation of kind of this self-belief that I haven't had since I was a teenager or since I was a kid. And so it was really locked down of there was only 2 goals I had in this off season and everything else was shut down. It was continue to build my relationship with Beth. There you go. Beth, that's Jess. Great. Shout out to any Jesses out there. Yeah. Continue to build my relationship with Beth. Yeah. And then get better at basketball. And everything else was like, people would ask to catch up for a little coffee. I shut it down. I wasn't getting lunches with people, nothing. So pretty much Beth works 4 days on, 4 days off with paramedics. And so for those 4 days that she was at work, I would lift at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., work out with Lloyd on the basketball court from 9:30 to 11:30, eat lunch, lift from probably about 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and then shoot again from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And so I'd put in a good 8 hours for like 4 days straight. And then I would have my 4 rest days, which would consist of a lift in the morning for 2 hours and then an hour and a half workout. And then sometimes I would lift again in the afternoon, and I'd pretty much just no days off. They were like my rest days, which I could lift and a workout. And that kind of continued throughout the whole off season. And so I'm heading into this preseason really, really excited because one, I got a good amount of work in for the first time kind of since COVID, because our off seasons have been so short. And then secondly, like mentally and physically, it's the best I've ever felt in my career and in my life. And so I'm really, really excited. And, you know, we've been working out the last 2 days. The body feels good. The shot feels good. And I'm ready to roll. I got that itch to play some basketball again. And, you know, missing out on the NBL1, not playing that, I just want to play some basketball again. I'm ready to go. So that was my off season. No real days off, maybe 1 or 2 here or there when me and Beth laid on the couch all day and watched some Avatar or, you know, watched some TV shows. So it was a great off season, and all of that process was done with my little brother, who last week secured a D1 scholarship to America, and he's flying off in a couple of weeks. So it was a really successful time for both of us, and a lot of fun.
Damn, I didn't realize that. Congrats to him. But that is such a grind by the sounds of it. Like, obviously people know what athletes and what you put yourself through, but just when you put it out there and on top of that, saying it's like the best you've ever felt in some time, that's exciting as well. But I did find that funny. Clearly, I've talked about myself too much if you're accidentally saying Jess before instead of Beth. I'll shut up about myself because it's getting too much. It's getting too confusing. But nah, that's super cool. I always enjoy, hearing you space out what you actually do on a day-to-day basis, and it just sounds like something that I would not be able to do. Anyway, I was going to ask you, I do have a question. From like I don't know how to word this, but from like if you're putting it off season versus season time, is there which one's tougher in terms of like, I don't know, keeping up the fitness or keeping up the mental side of it as well? Because I'm just thinking, like, during season it's probably almost easier to keep the fitness because obviously you've got games and you've got training, you've got all that stuff. But is off season harder for you to keep the fitness level up, or do you prefer that over in season?
It's a great question because they both definitely have their different challenges. So during season you find yourself, 2 things occur. One, you get mentally fatigued. Right, just the act of having to show up and perform every single day with the pressure of games, your brain's going a lot more, you're watching film, the highs and lows of sport, dealing with all of that leaves you in a place where you have your downtime during the season and you're mentally exhausted. You sit on the couch and you're done. The other thing that happens during the season is you get injuries. So you get the niggles, you stub your toes, you get an elbow, you get a cork. The wear and tear of that kind of breaks you down to a point where you are battling that type of soreness, a lot of times recovery with injuries and body niggles. When in the off season, you don't deal with those 2 things. So you're able to shut off the brain almost, show up every single day, just work your butt off. You get physically sorer, but you don't battle injuries. So it's just mentally so much easier. You end the day and you're physically tired, but then you're able to conversate or go out with your friends or go do little things like that, and you're not mentally exhausted. So it's a different type of grind in which you're sorer and you're probably spending more time on the basketball court and in the weight room, but it doesn't have those little side effects of the season. So then fitness-wise, it depends. So all off-season at points, I'm not working on my cardio crazily. I'm either working on strength, a bit of speed, shooting a lot, ball handling, and then towards the end is when I'll start doing sprints and building that endurance back up. And that's pretty easy. When I maintain it most of the season, it'll take me a week to really get back to what I feel like really good shape. And then it always takes a little bit when you arrive to get into that game shape, just because it's different, using your brain the different movements and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's that classic thing, like, people don't realize, like, you're never in game shed until you're playing in a game because you just can't replicate exactly what comes with it. But yeah, I just think the off season would be so easy because it's a lot on yourself to keep everything up, and it's a lot on yourself to kind of, like, I guess, choose what to do. I was just thinking about how challenging that would actually be to just keep it going for how many months there is. But, you know, credit to you for doing it. I'm sure you're more than used to it by now, but hey.
Well, I put a team together. So I hire and pay a weights coach who was training me in both those sessions, and then I have a trainer too. So for me, I'm just showing up. They're putting me through stuff. I'm with them most of the day. And then in some of the basketball sessions, I'm educated enough to build my own and compete and go hard. But in the weight room, I'm not educated enough / I can't push myself to that point in which I need to. So I hire someone to help me do that. So I kind of create my own little like off-season team.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's the same. Has that been the same for years now?
Yep. Different guys in and out depending on situations or making small little improvements here and there or things like that. But from the second I became a pro, I've been putting off-season teams in place.
That's cool. Oh, well, very good. Very good. It's just interesting what you actually put yourself through. But so is that so from now till season begins, is it like, I guess what now? Is it just keep it up?
Yeah, so pretty much now it's on the team. So I'll officially on Monday, they'll start running practices, weights. I'll show up for that, and then I'll keep doing extras on my own in the afternoon. I'll probably get an extra lift in the afternoon and an extra shooting, like go find a shooting gun and get those in on 5 days a week or maybe even 7. And then everything's team orientated now. So you kind of put those skills you've been working on and apply it to the team setting. And so that's where we're here. We go on Monday, and it's pretty much non-stop there with the team 5 to 6 days a week until our first game in Perth.
Yeah, it's exciting. I've said to a few people now, and sometimes some people think it's a bit like maybe I'm lying or whatever, but I'm genuinely excited for the season. Like, I do miss it. Like, I miss shooting games. I see photos of people putting up. I see videos. I see just like the storylines. I think back to the storylines and stuff from last season. So I'm ready for it. I think it always gets to this point where you're like, okay, I'm ready for it. And then maybe, you know, a few months in, you're not as buzzed by it because it's just, it is what it is. It's what you're used to, but I'm ready. I'm super keen for it, to be honest.
Well, is there anything you're particularly looking forward to, or any projects that you've kind of got lined up that you're going to be put on this season, or any area that you're trying to improve in heading into this NBL season upon reflecting on your last one?
That's a good question. I don't think, like, nothing too specific, I don't think. I'm looking forward to doing a bit of the travel, like the media day and stuff. The Blitz got announced for the Gold Coast today. So, yeah, I'll be there. So I'll see your face up there, and we'll do the same media day stuff and talk for 2 seconds before you get pulled to every little, photo booth and whatnot. Stop being the main man in the team, would you? Last time I barely got to say a word to you, but hey.
It was non-stop.
So that's always fun when everyone's in the same room and get to see the players and stuff. And I'm also going to the NBL1 National Finals in WA, so never been to Perth before. So, you know, that'll be good. Good to experience. Just to get back to shooting games and covering it that way and do some, you know, on-court interviews behind the camera, that is. But yeah, it'll be fun. That stuff's always good. So those are probably the 2 things I'm looking forward to, I'd say.
Nice. Any areas you'd like to delve into a bit deeper or make some improvements on? You're not getting away from that part of the question.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't really have an answer for that, but I think going back to what we said, like, if I get the opportunity to do a bit more, like maybe talking in front of the camera, I think I'd put my hand up. But at the same time with these things, I always want to I wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes. And like, I think it's always good just to get feedback, whether it's good or bad. Like, you're not going to be great at something as soon as you step into it, kind of thing. So, but I think that's part of the fun. Like, you do something like this, and if someone tells you need work on, you're like, I feel like you just have to use it as like motivation almost. It's like, okay, I will get better. So yeah, in front of the camera, sure. But I'm keen to get back into what I already love doing and stuff, like just the photography side of things and all that. But don't have a really interesting answer for you there.
100%. I like it though. I like where your head's at. It's an exciting time heading to Perth for the NBL1, Gold Coast. You got some good trips aboard. You one thing I'm excited for is obviously we're going to be continuing the Shooters podcast. We took a little bit of a break. It was mostly on my end, but we're going to be keeping rolling these out. This episode has mostly been about catching up. It's been too long since we've talked, but next week we're going to be doing a deep dive into each team, breaking them down, the things we like, rumors about new imports, breaking down the jack jumpers. I'll go into some in-depth about how I feel about that, a little bit of Summer League talk, and I'm really, really excited to get back on the mic with Darren, talking about basketball, talking about hoops, talking about the NBL. I'm excited for the NBL season to start back up again, man. It's been too long.
Yeah, it has. And I think at the same time, I think it's actually quite good to take a break from some things sometimes. Like if you just keep going, and we both love doing this, but at the same time, like family is important, friends are important, switching off is important, and just focusing on your actual day job, even though you're doing that anyway. But I think it's good to break routine as much as I love my routine, to be honest. But yeah, it's good to get back into it because, yeah, I don't know. I miss talking to you. I miss seeing your face. It's funny just going
Likewise.
You're in Germany together, and we all knew it was just going to go back to reality of it. But hey, we're across the screens from each other, but we're back recording. So good to catch up, I'd say.
100%, 100%. Is there anything you'd like to add to finish our first episode of season 2, the catch up? The one and only, we're back, be more basketball orientated next week, but we just needed to catch up as friends. And if you guys have any questions, anything you guys are excited about for the NBL season, anything in particular you've liked about the NBL1 season, NBA finals, there's a lot of stuff that's gone on since our last episode, and we're excited to hear what you guys have been doing, what you guys have been enjoying, just like the way we enjoyed catching up with each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say as well, just like, we can call this season 2, and it's just an opportunity to rethink things as well. Like I always like the community element of like podcasts and things like this. So just comment on our stuff. Like if you want to say something or like say anything that comes to your mind, just say it. Like I think that's one of the best parts about podcasts and things like this, to be honest, just like interacting with fans and getting their input. Like it's all fun and well for us to enjoy chatting to each other, but it would be a bonus if there was like fan interactions for us and other people as well, to be honest. So, but I'm keen to jump back into it. Yeah, we can rework it, talk it up, do whatever we want, essentially.
Well, I'll end this podcast on this one little story. So I've been back in Tasmania, working these camps, basketball clinics. Kids have been coming out. It's been awesome. Today, we're doing some questions at the end of the camp. A kid raises his hand. He looks me dead in the eye, and he says, "When's the next Shooters podcast episode coming out? I love listening to you and Darren." And I said, "We'll be right there with you in a couple days." So I want to give a shout out to Fletcher. Thanks for the question. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've listened to it and enjoying and having a great day. And I'm looking forward to season 2 with all of you guys, and particularly chatting with Darren every week about some NBL.
Damn, Fletcher, that's great. I love hearing things like that. So shout out to Fletcher, and yeah, we appreciate the love. Thanks for knowing my name. Jack's the big dog here, but hey, whenever I get a shout out, I'm happy. So happy Friday to you, Fletcher, and happy Friday to everyone else that bloody listened to this. And to you, Jack. Congrats on everything in your life at the moment.